So, if you're over 40, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. That feeling that something is just a little off. Your digestion isn't what it used to be. But what if I told you the solution isn't some expensive new supplement? It's really just about getting back to a natural rhythm your body has. Well, kind of misplaced. Does this ring a bell? You wake up, you feel bloated, kind of heavy, and your energy is just zapped before the day even gets going. And the frustrating part is you're trying to eat all the right things, but it feels like your body is fighting you every step of the way. Look, you are not alone in this, and there's a very real, very simple reason it's happening. And here's the thing we so often miss. We get obsessed with what we're eating. The salads, the lean protein, all of it. But the real issue might not be the food itself. The problem is that the actual system, the machinery that's supposed to process it, is just, well, it's slowing down. Okay, so there's a technical name for what's going on here, peristalsis. Just think of it like these muscular waves that push food all the way through your digestive tract. It's an automatic process. But the thing is, after 40, those waves can get a little weaker, a little slower, less efficient. It's a totally natural change, but it has some pretty big consequences. And that slowdown kicks off this little chain reaction. See, when food doesn't move along at a good pace, it just sits there and ferments. And that is where all that gas and that constant bloated feeling comes from. Even worse, that environment becomes a party for the wrong kind of gut bacteria, which can lead to inflammation and just completely drain your energy. But here's the good news. The fix is actually pretty simple, and it's inspired by a culture that's famous for healthy, long lives. We're going to walk through 8 daily habits, and here's the mess part. We're going to rank them from the least to the most powerful, so you'll know exactly which habits are just nice to have and which ones are the real game changers. All right, let's ease into it. We'll start with the habits that build a solid foundation. These are good, they're helpful, but they aren't the heavy hitters just yet. Think of these as the warm-up act. So, coming in at number 8 is deep belly breathing. When you breathe deep down into your belly, you're flipping the switch on your rest and digest system. It's a signal to your body that says, hey, it's safe now. You can focus on digesting. It's great for getting out of a stressed out state, but honestly, its direct impact is pretty mild. So yeah, it helps, but it's not going to solve the whole puzzle on its own. All right, moving on up to number 7, we have warm green tea with a little bit of fresh ginger. This is a nice combo. Green tea is good for your gut bacteria, and ginger kind of gives your upper digestion a little nudge. But here's the kicker. The temperature is key. Cold drinks can actually make your digestive system seize up and slow down. So just switching to something warm is a small but really smart upgrade. And for our 6th habit, a gentle abdominal massage. Now, this is purely mechanical. You're just using your hands to follow the path of your colon, giving things a little physical encouragement to move along. It can definitely bring some relief, for sure, but just remember, you're assisting from the outside. You're not actually changing what's happening on the inside. Okay, the foundation's built. Now, let's get to the real heavy hitters. These are the habits that make a much bigger, more lasting difference. These are the ones that really start to get that natural rhythm back on track. Kicking off our top 5 is a huge one, just chewing your food properly. You know, it's so easy to forget that digestion doesn't start in your stomach. It starts in your mouth. When you inhale your food, big chunks hit your gut and, you guessed it, they ferment. But when you take the time to chew thoroughly, you're basically pre-digesting your food, which takes a massive load off the rest of your system. And that's why this gets a solid 6 out of 10. The effect is immediate, and it helps your entire system. A lot of people say they feel lighter after meals the very first day they focus on this. It's probably one of the fastest ways to start feeling better. Okay, now we're taking a huge leap in impact. At number 4, getting some fermented foods in your diet every day. We're talking about things like miso, natto, or even just some good old-fashioned pickled veggies. This is all about repopulating your gut with the good guys, restoring that healthy balance. A happy gut microbiome is absolutely critical for digestion. Number 3 is a really fascinating one. Having a little bit of vinegar, like apple cider vinegar, in water before you eat. What this does is trigger something called the gastrocolic reflex. It's basically like ringing a doorbell to let your whole digestive system know, hey, get ready, food's on the way. It helps wake everything up and get it prepped for the job. Our runner-up, landing at a powerful number 2, is the simple principle of eating until you're just 80% full. Think of your digestive system like a washing machine. If you overstuff it, nothing gets properly cleaned, right? It just churns and struggles. Same idea here.
By stopping before you're stuffed, you give your system the room it needs to work efficiently.
And now, for the one you've been waiting for, the most powerful, the most effective, and, believe it or not, the simplest habit of them all. The #1 habit is starting your day with a glass of warm water. That's it. I know, it sounds way too simple to be true, right? But think about it. After sleeping for hours, your body's dehydrated and your whole system is dormant. That warm water gently rehydrates you, it relaxes your digestive muscles, and it kind of wakes everything up, setting this amazing rhythm for the entire day. This gets a perfect 10 out of 10 because it is the foundation. It's the cornerstone. It's the very first signal you send your body every single morning. And that consistent signal creates a ripple effect that makes everything else we've talked about work even better. So here it is all laid out. You can really see that clear jump in power as we go from those nice supportive habits like breathing and massage, all the way up to the real game changers like chewing, fermented foods, and of course that absolute pillar, starting your day with warm water.
Okay, that's a lot of information, right? But we all know that information doesn't really mean much without action. So the big question is, what do you actually do with all this? Let's make it super, super simple to get started. Look, don't try to tackle all 8 habits at once. That's a recipe for failure. Just focus on these top 3. That's your mission. Tomorrow morning, first thing, have a glass of warm water. Then, at your very next meal, just make a real conscious effort to chew more. And finally, try to put your fork down just a little bit sooner than you normally would. That's it. Master these 3, and I promise you are going to feel a huge difference.
So the big takeaway here is this. Your body isn't broken. It hasn't failed you. It has just fallen out of its natural rhythm. The amazing thing is, with just a few simple, consistent habits, you can absolutely get that rhythm back and get your system working for you again, instead of against you.